Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to another show on the Sports Music and Live podcast. In this one, I'm going to cover about the Zack Parker and Buatsi fight, which for me was very controversial. For those who haven't watched it or did watch it will know where I'm about to come from when I get into this. There was a couple of fights actually for me that was a bit controversy, and that being the first fight too. I didn't see the actual first fight in the undercard. This is where I tuned in from, and that was with Liam Cameron. For those who, and that was against Troy Jones. Both fighters coming off the back of a loss too, and it's for the WBA Intercontinental. Now, normally I would get into it where I'll go round by round, but I think time's passed on about it, and everyone knows what happened. For those who don't, you can go back and watch it, and you'll see. So I'm going to do something a bit different today. So for me, Liam Cameron was a great fight in that. You could not fault him for his heart and determination, but for me, he was getting beaten to the punch hell of a lot. He looked slower and he looked like he'd aged a lot. Now, for those who don't know Liam Cameron and his background, which I'm pretty sure everyone does by now who's involved with the boxing world, will know that where he's come from to where he is now is an amazing story, an amazing journey. He definitely got it wrong this time last time out against Ben Whittaker, where he was trying to take his head off, and I think that's where he lost it. And Ben Whittaker got to him and finished him, and he's been out of action since then. But he come back, and for me, it looked like he had aged in the boxing ring. He's 35, and maybe it could have been the weight drain. I don't know. I'm not delved too much into that, but I do think he was getting beaten to the punch quite a lot. But he had that heart and determination, and I felt he was losing the fight. But, you know, at times he did have his success. I mean, he wasn't well out of his depth, but I just thought Troy Jones nicked that fight and won that fight. I'm just normally I'd go through my notes, but I'm just going to go to the. So, Liam comes out firing in the last round, and he's giving it his all. And if I remember right, they said you got to give it your all to go and win this. It was a close fight. But I was surprised that Liam won that fight. But fair play. You know, he done what he had to do. It's not his fault. It was down to the judges. And I think the judges were a bit shocking that night, if I'm quite honest. Yeah. Frank Warren, he's been in interviews and he's been saying, so. But listen, Liam done what he had to do. And maybe the judges see that he won it. But I just felt he was getting beaten to too many of the punches, and for me that's where he lost it. But listen, it's lovely to see him win the title coming from where he's come from, and fair play to him. But could be a rematch in that one too. Our fight too, this was the fight of the night for me, and that was Lyndon Arthur versus Brad Ray. That was for the EBU European Light Heavyweight belt. And Ray being the champion, and it got a bit emotional because he's come out, he was under Ricky Hatton, so he gave a little tribute to Ricky Hatton, which was nice. And Ray started really good in that. Ray started really good in that fight. Really strong start to him. Lyndon Arthur using he's got the best jab in the game, if not in the British game at the moment in the boxing. It is long, and if he uses it right, he's very hard to beat when he's using that long jab, and at times he got drawn into it a bit. He went down. He did go down in the fight, but that jab is where Lyndon Arthur won that fight for me, and rightly so, because it was. Sorry, I'm just going to have a quick look at the notes here. I'm not going to go around, like I said, I'm not going to go round by round today. Too much has happened. I'm sure everyone knows what the stories are of these fights. If not, go back and watch them if you can find them. So Lyndon Arthur was keeping the range very well. Like I said, that jab is what was winning him that fight, and he did go down a couple of times. It's one of them where you could watch it again, so also I'll put in the notes. So let's get into the Buatsi versus Zack Parker. Now, there's been some dodgy judging over the years, but this by far goes down as one of the worst I've ever seen. Buatsi missed so many punches. Alright, at times Zack Parker did do some strange things, kept falling to his knee. And listening to Frank's interviews in the week, this has been a regular thing for him. But he made Buatsi miss a hell of a lot. It wasn't a great fight. But Buatsi did at times have his success. But for me, Parker won that fight by miles because that's probably the worst I've seen Buatsi fight. And I don't know if any of you agree, but I feel since Buatsi went to Virgil Hunter, he lost that killer instinct. And I'm not saying Virgil Hunter's a crap coach. I'm in no position to say who's crap and who's not a crap coach. And look what he'd done with Adrian Wall, Amir Khan. He helped Amir Khan's defensive work out a lot more. And so he is a great coach, but is he too at a defensive coach style? And I think Buatsi's lost that killer instinct there, and that showed against Callum Smith. And I'm telling you now, Callum Smith beats both of these again, and he'll beat Zack Parker. But hopefully Callum Smith gets his shot at the world title in his next fight. But yeah, for me, I can't see how Zack Parker didn't win that fight. It's got to be a rematch, whether many of us will want to see it or not. But I think Zack Parker deserves his chance to avenge that loss that he didn't lose, and it was very, very, very poor judging. So that's how I feel about that fight. And for those who haven't watched it, please go and watch it, and you'll see where I'm coming from and what I'm saying. I don't know it. I haven't seen or heard anything about anyone thinking that Buatsi won that fight. And Buatsi said at the end, and fair play to him, he said he felt he won it, but you're going to, if you're a fighter, aren't you? It's not until they retire that they start to admit these things because they can't, because, they're not in it to admit it at that time because it can ruin or harm their reputation or give people an up. And, it's all about the mind games in boxing. So, for me, for Buatsi, at the end of the fight, said it was a very strange style, and it was a very strange style at times when Parker fell to his knees, but he did make Buatsi miss a lot. So, for me, Parker deserves another shot at that, or the one to go on to challenge for the WBO belt. But I did believe that Callum Smith was the mandatory for that, but or was it might have been the WBC. Yeah, I can't remember about that, but it was for a belt. The winner was meant to go on and face for a belt. But listen, if you're Buatsi, as far as I'm concerned, you're going to leave that behind and move on. You ain't going to bother with that, are you? You're going to move on to your world title shot if you're going to get it. Alright, so that's my thoughts on that. Please let us know in the comments what you think. Please like and share. So this is another show from the Sports Music and Live podcast. The next one I'll be bringing will be about football. That will be with Paul. And that'll be at some point. So thank you for listening to another show on the Sports Music and Live podcast. Like I say, please share, like and subscribe and all that nonsense just to get this channel up and running and spread the good word if you're enjoying it. So yeah, thank you for listening, and I'll bring you another podcast soon.